Are you thinking about buying or selling? How do you go about choosing an agent? You're gonna wanna watch this video. Do your research when you're thinking about buying or selling. Hey guys, this is Danny Baisley with the Selling Texas team. I wanna talk to you a little bit about agent representation and why you want to have an agent. Also, how do you go about finding an agent? One of the biggest things to do, what you're doing right now, doing some research, finding out what are the differences with realtors. Trust me, not all realtors are alike. As I record this video, in the greater Austin area, there are almost 18,000 agents. Last month, there were around 5,000 paychecks. Math on that doesn't work. In real estate, the fail rate is 90%, probably higher than that. 10 people get their real estate license. Within 2 years when they are set to renew, they will no longer be in real estate. Find yourself an agent who's got experience. Me personally, I've played with houses my entire life. Grew up in a contracting business, been in the housing industry in the greater Austin area for more than 30 years. I've had my license for over 22 years. At one point, I even got my real estate inspector's education, more so for the education than to actually be an inspector. But the point is, I've got a ton of education, a ton of experience, and my goal is to be able to educate you, guide you, explain everything to you so that you can make the best decisions. If I've done my job properly, everything should make sense. There's a lot that goes into the buying or selling process, about 400 separate little items that need to be done. So for me, I use a team, the Selling Texas team. I don't even do my own social media other than sitting down with you guys and sharing my 30 years of knowledge, right? I have a transaction manager, admin people. We have people that are client care specialists who takes care of the website and setting people up on searches, making sure we're putting the best listings in front of them, not just wasting your time, right? We actually have a team of people that allows me, the agent, to spend all of my time with you, working on the things that are important to you. What are we talking about here? When you're looking at selling a house, we have to look at what are the market conditions. Where is this market headed? What is the condition of the home? What is the best asking price? What is the strategy? We do that in a couple of ways. We definitely want to pull off of all of the data that is in the market. So we need to be able to pull that in. Of course, then I need to interpret it, educate you, provide you with my professional opinion, help guide you to come to the right decision with that. It's not always, hey, we want to market at the highest dollar that the market can bring. I can show you most of the time that will actually hurt you. We want to price it absolutely in that sweet spot where we get you the most money, but we get the most attention. So there are a lot of things that go into that. Once we get a contract, same thing on the buyer side. You want somebody who's going to be able to read through all of the details, the terms and conditions. It's not always about price. Even when you're offering, the highest price may not be the best offer. If you're looking to buy a home, you don't always need to have the highest price. You need to be able to share that with you, educate you, guide you. As we start to look through to see what is the agent on the other side. Typically, I go to the Texas Real Estate Commission and I pull their license and their education. I want to see, are they new? Do they have a ton of education? What's going on with them? This way, I can start to identify where they're at. Then I do the best I can to get them on the phone. Texting is great, but I want to get them on the phone. I want to be able to feel the agent out on the other side. I want to see, just because maybe they're a newer agent, maybe they have some amazing mentors, maybe they've worked in an ancillary business for many years, and so this is something that they're now ready to do. I need to get a feel for what that agent has to offer. Are they going to throw up some red flags, or are they going to be the kind of agent, if a challenge comes up, this is an agent who's going to get in and get to work, right? So I want to be able to pull that and provide that information to you as well. As we enter into any type of negotiations, we have a really good feel. Again, if you're selling your home, you have an idea of what's going on with this buyer, what's going on with this buyer's agent. You add that, has a lot of weight. I call and talk to the lender for any of these buyers. I want not just to hear that, yes, they have reviewed all the documents. I also want to get a sense of who that lender is on the other side as well. This is where all of this experience and time, being able to, even in my contracting days, right, to be able to kind of see problems before they arise, to see who is going to work with us through any of the challenges. What is the reason, the why they're making this move, and be able to utilize that, not to take advantage of anybody, but to really make sure that I put you, my clients, in the best situation. Again, same thing on the opposite side. When we're the buyers, before we finalize and send that offer over, I need to be able to sit down with you, pull all of the data, interpret that data, educate you on that data, be able to make decisions, 3 positions before we make the offer: the initial offer, our middle ground, and our walk away point. What point are we willing to walk away? Hey, they want too much, we'll find another one that's a better fit for you. Before we even get there and get it all written out, then I'm going to call the agent on the other side. I'm going to say, hey, we're going to be submitting an offer. Do you have any other offers? I don't care whether they have any other offers or not, to be honest with you. I mean, yes, that's going to affect us a little bit, but really what I want to do is I want to get that agent on the phone with me. I want to see if I can hear, again, pick up on anything from motivations for their seller to also any experience level, really cheerful and positive. I want to hear what's going on with them, anything that I can pick up, bring back, share with you, and make any adjustments to the offer that we're going to do. This is a huge thing. Negotiations in real estate, everything is negotiable in real estate. This is not like going to Target and buy a pair of socks. Probably the biggest financial transaction in your life. It is really important that you find somebody who's going to dig into those details, share all of that information with you. You know, I said that while I want to find the motivation, I want to find the experience level of an agent, yes, I want to use it to get you the best deal. You're my client. I don't want to use it to take advantage. Now, would you want somebody that's willing to be ruthless like that, who's going to fight for you like that? Do you? Because if that's the case, if I'm willing to step on somebody else's toes to get money, am I going to step on your toes to get money? Not for me. I'm going to play win-win. I'm going to make sure that we get the absolute best we can, that you understand all of the options, all of the implications of every little nuance that I possibly can, so that we get the best deal we can, but I'm not going to take advantage or step on somebody else in the process. Also, just because an agent doesn't have the most experience or whatever else on the other side doesn't mean that we're not going to do that transaction. I've been doing this long enough. Again, I have my team in place. It's just a heads up for us that, hey, look, there's some red flags. I need to be able to really step up. You need to be aware that I may need a little more of your time to work through, because I'm going to have to do some of the job of the other agent if we do indeed move forward with that transaction. That's fine. I'm never going to tell you that you can't buy a house or you shouldn't buy a house, as long as you're aware of everything, as long as I feel like you really are confident in the decisions that you're making, then I've done my job. You should be able to make the best decisions for you and your family. We talk about the level of experience, not taking advantage. A lot of people will go out and they'll see there are some brokerages and individual agents who will either reduce their commission or they will go ahead and kick back some of that commission to you. While everything in real estate is negotiable, especially commissions, that's not something that I do. I know how much I'm going to charge. Now, for buyers, the sellers are always going to pay for you. So I'm not going to charge buyers anything. On the seller side, yes, we're going to talk about what my commission structure is. There's a typical standard commission structure that I go with. That also includes a couple of different levels of what it is that we're going to do for you. But I have my standard of where I'm going to be. Why is that important to you? Because if I can't protect what I make dollar per hour, how am I going to protect you? If I can't take care of making sure that I'm holding myself to a professional standard and making sure that my time is valuable, what am I going to do for you? So this is super important to take a look at. Be very aware of what you are getting for what you are paying. It's not about getting the cheapest price or getting that rebate and that commission if it costs you thousands and thousands of dollars above that because you weren't aware of all the little details and all the little nuances that happened during that transaction. Again, I want to play from a win-win point of view. So be very, very careful when you're talking to agents who are just willy-nilly with their own commissions. They're liable to be that way with you. Another thing we talk about, my time is valuable. Yes, it is. This is a full-time and then some. This is not a 9 to 5. This is a 5 to 9. Okay, I don't do 5 to 9. I typically do a little bit later start, but then I work when everybody else gets off work. That's when I go to town and really do my thing. The reason I bring this up is, again, again, we have 18,000 agents in the greater Austin area. A lot of them don't have consistent paychecks. Their consistent paycheck comes from a job. Contract dates don't care whether it's a weekend. They don't even care about holiday. They're not going to care about somebody's job. This is what I do all the time. This is a passion of mine. I love houses. I fell in love with houses when I was younger, growing up in that contracting business, stayed in that contracting business for a long time, but really found out I get to have such a huge impact in people's lives, where they live, where they call home, and their financial future in this business. So this is where my passion lies. It also means that I have to do things that other agents typically aren't willing to do. In our area, the last I heard was the average agent does 4 transactions a year. That's not enough to gain the experience, to have the knowledge. Either they need money and they may do whatever they can to get that money, or they may have a job and not be available enough. Again, I'm barely available enough that I make sure that I have my transaction manager, make sure that all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted. I've got folks who take care of editing this video that you're watching so that we can share information with you without me having to take the time to do that, so that I can focus my time with my clients. There's a lot of little things that go on with that. Again, even we start out, that's on the sales side, but we start out on the buy side. You start looking at, maybe you are from the Austin area, so you kind of have an idea of where you like to live, but we need to talk about, what does the money look like? What does the neighborhood look like? Are the different types of houses, the different design features? Are you looking at resale? Are you looking at new construction? What is the difference? Why, for me, they both have good things and bad things. We need to talk about what's going to be the best fit for you. We haven't even started looking at houses yet. We want to be able to really have somebody who's knowledgeable about houses, knowledgeable about the areas that they're selling you in, knowledgeable about market conditions, knowledgeable about all of these different areas before we even get started looking for a home. We start sending you the right listings to look at online. Then we go out, we do some window shopping. Yes, we do window shopping. I don't expect you to buy the first couple of houses we see. I prefer you not to. We want to go out, look at a few online, get out, take a look at them. Kitchen may look beautiful, especially online. Then you go out to the house and yeah, it's beautiful. You find out it really doesn't fit for your family. The way you guys do breakfast, the way you guys do dinner, the way you guys entertain, doesn't mean it's not a beautiful kitchen. It just doesn't mean it fits for you. By doing that window shopping, getting to see, you're going to get to do the walkthrough with me. You're going to get to see what I have the scars to prove that I have dug all the way through houses, and the experience in real estate, how I do things. This is my job interview, right? This is the time that you get to see who I am as your buyer's agent, how I'm going to look at houses every time we look at a house. So that's super important. We haven't even gotten serious about buying a house yet. So if you're finding all this information overwhelming, I completely understand. Feel free, follow the links in the description below. Let's just have a 30-minute chat. No pressure, I'm in no hurry. I've been doing this 30 years. I'm not going anywhere. My son just got licensed. I'm not going anywhere. Feel free to go ahead and schedule that time. Let's have a talk. Even if you're 3 years, 4 years out, let's have that talk. If you're 3 months out, definitely let's get together and have a Zoom. That being said, we start going into, all right, now we've identified the house that we're gonna buy. We've identified the buyer we're gonna work with. That's when we get the inspection done. That gets done whether you're the buyer or you're on the seller side and the buyer's having the inspection done. This is why I got my real estate inspector's education at one point, past my license. Let that go a long time ago because it wasn't my intent to do it. For me, I think that it must be part of the law that the inspectors use the scariest language possible. By me growing up in the contracting business, doing that for a long time, by me having that education specifically about real estate inspection, I am able to go ahead and translate that into English. And I'm going to back up everything I'm telling you. So I'm not going to tell you something about what the inspector said about a particular item that we can't verify with the inspector, that we can't verify through other sources. But I'm going to translate all the technical language that they use, that they have to use, let's be honest. But I'm going to translate that into something you understand and be able to give you the examples so that you feel confident about buying the house that you're buying. There's no such thing as a perfect house. There really is not new construction. Sometimes I see the new construction have worse inspection reports than some of the resales. It really is very detailed and nuanced. We need to be able to get into that. So I want to be able to go through that inspection report. If we're on the seller side, I don't ask full inspection report, and there are reasons for that, and I'm happy to explain what those reasons are when we get together to talk. On the buy side, I do want to be able to see all of that, right? And go through, and when the buyers ask you, the seller, for certain items, I want to be able to have some understanding of it, not just what they're asking for, why they're asking for it, what it means to the house. Is it a big ticket item? Is it a matter of safety? You know, like, I want to be able to really explain to you all of those details, because we just entered into another round of negotiation. So whether you're on the buy side or the sell side, we now have this inspection report. We need to be able to have the negotiations. Again, I want to play win-win. I want to make sure that, yes, every buyer is going to ask for these things. So seller, yes, let's do it. Buyer on your side, of course, let's ask for those things, but let's be reasonable and let's find a win-win. If I bump up against an agent that doesn't have the experience, I am then able to use the same things that I teach you and teach that agent and be able to get you where you need to be. If they are super experienced but they want to play hardball, I'm able to stand my ground and negotiate on your behalf in a position of power. Of course, everything I do is run by you. We are able to negotiate from a position of power because I've been doing this for so long. So it's super important that you have somebody that is very knowledgeable. Either you go with a very seasoned agent and somebody who's played with houses my whole life, or you go with somebody who definitely does have the right mentor, the right group, the right team around them. Again, there are so many agents out here. You probably know somebody, friend, family member who's an agent. You know, we talk about working with somebody who's a friend or a family member. That can be a really good, positive experience, or it can be really bad. It depends on the agent, right? Because I want you to think about it. You're working with family and friend. They get access to what your finances are. There are sometimes, outside of the control of you or the agent, problems arise in real estate transactions because we're talking about a lot of money and a lot of emotions. When those problems arise, I need to be able to help remove some of the emotion. I need to be able to let you go ahead and have the emotion and express that with me, but be able to then come in and explain some logic and some reasoning as to why somebody is behaving a certain way and why we want to respond in a certain way. You're the boss in this transaction, but by having somebody who can step back and pull that emotion out, we can go ahead and get to that win-win and not lose out because somebody was misbehaving on the other side, or because we got really tight tolerances with timelines and there was a lot of pressure to finish out those negotiations. Think about that. You're doing that with a friend or family member, really tight timelines, really tight negotiations. You don't want to end up having that relationship pulled and tugged, right? Unless you know, okay, this is a seasoned agent who knows how to go, listen, I can receive your high emotions and be able to understand it, be able to work with you and work through that to get to the point where we can still find a win-win if at all possible. So be very careful with working with friends and family. Make sure that they are a seasoned agent. Make sure that they know how to manage and handle all of the nuances, all of the intricacies, all of the details that even come down to the different personalities that we're going to be dealing with. We're going to be dealing with every transaction. We're going to be dealing with title companies, right, and their assistants. We're going to be dealing with lenders and their assistants and their underwriters. We're going to be dealing with inspectors. That's on every transaction, plus the agent on the other side of the transaction. So everybody is working towards a win-win for the most part. There are times and there's so much going on that you really want to be able to have somebody educate you, have somebody there to help go through this process, to really be able to guide you so that at the end, you sit down on your new couch, in your new house for the first time, you're happy because you understood how you got there. Okay, I stole that house blind. No, maybe you didn't, right? And in the Austin market, you probably did, but you're happy because you understood the value that you got, the value that you got in that house. And that's what a good agent should be able to provide to you. Now, for me, this means you're my client for life. Again, all this time in real estate, I want you to be able to ask me any questions that you have. 3 years, 5 years, I had a client reach out to me. I sold her house 7 years ago. She just recently reached out to me and said she had questions about her fence, right? It was time to do some work on her fence. She had questions about who owns what, how to go about doing that. Of course she should reach out to me this many years later. When you're my client, I want to be able to help you not just with your buying and your selling, but this is about where you live. You're looking for investment properties. You know, this is about being able to, I have tools there as well. I have a 10-year spreadsheet, investment spreadsheet that will tell you, hey, this is kind of what you can expect for 10 years when you own this rental property. So again, I definitely want to be able to have the privilege to serve you, to educate you, to guide you, get you to that place where you can make the best decisions for you, your family, your finances. I look forward to speaking with you. Any questions that you have, feel free to post them. Happy to answer them. Email me if it's more detailed. If you're even thinking about buying or selling and would like to have a just 30-minute chat with me, go ahead, follow the links in the description below. Schedule a phone call, schedule a Zoom. If you're a little bit, you're 3 to 6 months out, maybe even a year out, definitely go ahead and follow the links for the seller consultation or the buyer consultation. At this point, again, this is just a chance for you to ask me questions to see if we are a good fit, if I am going to be able to help you. So go ahead and schedule either that phone call or that Zoom. I hope that I provided you with a lot of information while you're doing your research. I congratulate you for doing your research before moving ahead and starting to really look at what are the differences. Not all agents are the same. You definitely want to do your research, so I congratulate you on that. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button on your way out the door. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Take care.